Hi everybody! Today's video is a little different than my regular videos showing you a step-by-step how I make and assemble a card. The card shown here isn't really different from what I've made in the past, with a couple of exceptions. So I'm going to show you a couple of things I did on this that you might run into somewhere down the road, and if you do, this might help. And for me, it's much easier to show you rather than type instructions. If you're like me, you probably have lots of 6x6 paper pads in your stash. So what do you do when you want to use one of Spellbinder's lovely new 5x7 die templates? You double your paper. I didn't line up the edges in the picture because I wanted you to see about how much I overlap the paper, but you do want the edges to be even. Then tape the two pieces together. Trust me, when you run this through the grand caliper, it has lots of pressure, so the paper probably won't come apart easily. Since some of Spellbinder's new die templates are very intricate, I use wax paper. This will help the paper release from the die much easier after you cut and emboss with the grand caliper. At the top of this picture, I've placed my yellow stylus where the top layer ends. That could cause a problem because it will show on your finished card. So I placed my next layer on top of the yellow cardstock so I could see where that line will be in my finished project, and if I'm going to be able to hide it easily. In this picture, I think the line is a little too high, so slide the die, in this case for the video, it's to the left until it's where you want your ribbon, because your ribbon is what's going to hide that line. Now tape the die to the wax paper and the wax paper to your cardstock, then cut and emboss with your grand caliper. And here's your lovely die-cut cardstock. But I think I have another problem. As much as I like the yellow cardstock, I think it's much too bright for what I want, so I'm going to change that too. I took pigment ink pads I thought matched the paper pretty good and pressed them directly to the cardstock, starting with my lightest color first. Or you can use clear Versamark if you don't have different colors of pigment ink. Then I added white embossing powder, and with a paintbrush I lightly removed some of the embossing powder before I used the heat gun. So we went from bright to somewhat shabby and a much softer look. And that's it. Here's my finished card. The ribbon hides the line where the cardstock overlaps. I stamped my sentiment and added my flower. I hope this helps, and I always enjoy sharing with you. So until next time, bye now.